moving into definite integration, it's definitely an integral. The thing you have to remember about your definite integrals is that your answers are always numbers. So I am integrating, number 20, I am integrating from 2 to 10 of 5 dx. These two numbers are called your limits of integration. They give us an extra step to the integration process, and they also remind us to leave off the plus c. And so this right here, you first integrate. The integral of 5 is 5x, and then you have to plug in x equals 10, then you have to plug in x equals 2, and then subtract the two answers. This comes from the fundamental theorem of calculus. So that's going to be 5, multiply 5 when x is equals to 10, 5x, minus 5 times 2. 5 times 10 is 50, minus 10. The answer is 40. And so therefore this answer right here is 40. Remember, the definition of the definite integral tells us that this is the area between the curve and the x-axis. That's right here what this 40 represents. So it's square units. Number 21. It's helpful to have a calculator for these. Integral from negative 2 to 1 of 2x plus 2 dx. Again, first you integrate and leave off the plus c. So that's going to be 2x squared over 2 plus 2x. And I have to plug in x equals 1. I have to plug in x equals negative 2. And then subtract the answers. These simplify. So my actual integration, simply x squared plus 2x. Plug in 1. Plug in negative 2. Subtract the two answers. So you plug in 1, that's going to be 1 squared plus 2 times 1. And then you're going to subtract negative 2 squared plus 2 times negative 2. So that's going to be 1 plus 2 minus 4 minus 4. Well, 4 minus 4 is 0, so the answer is 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 minus 0 is 0. So the answer to my definite integral right here is 3. Number 22. I am integrating from negative 1 to 1 of 3x plus 1 plus 2 over x dx. That's going to be 3x squared over 2 plus 1x plus 2 ln absolute value of x plus c. Again, don't miss it. Single x in the denominator. Gats to be careful. Oh, but no plus c though. I have to plug in x equals 1, plug in x equals negative 1, and subtract the answers. So that's going to be 3 times 1 squared over 2 plus 1 plus 2 times ln of 1 minus, open parentheses, 3 times negative 1 squared over 2 minus 1 plus 2 times ln absolute value of negative 1. That is going to be 3 halves plus 1. ln of 1 is actually equal to 0. Try it on your calculator. So that's going to be plus 0 minus 3 over 2, because negative 1 squared is 1 half, minus 1, again plus 0. The absolute value of negative 1 is just 1. ln of 1 is 0. So that is 3 halves plus 1. Oh, my minus sign is in the wrong place. Minus 3 halves plus 1. The 3 halves cancel. The answer is 2. All of that hard work and sacrifice to get an answer of 2. Yes, I know. But it's question number 22 though. Number 23. I have the integral from 5 to 4 Notice that the larger number is down here. The rules don't change though. So that's 2x plus 3 times 5x minus 2 dx. Before I can integrate, I have to simplify. So that's going to be 10x squared minus 4x plus 15x minus 6. The middle terms combine. 10x squared minus 11x minus 6. Sense the need for a calculator coming on. And so that's going to be, I am integrating 10x, add 1 to the power, divide by 3, minus 11x squared, divide by 2, minus 6x. I have to plug in x equals 4, I have to plug in x equals 5, and then I need to subtract the two answers. So that's going to be 10 times 4 to the third power over 3, minus 11 times 4 squared over 2, minus 6 times 4. I gotta work that out, and I gotta subtract out 10 times 5 to the third power over 3, minus 11 times 5 squared over 2, minus 6 times 5. Work those out, and that should take me home. Well, 4 to the third power is 64, I believe. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4, 64. So that's 640 over 3 minus 16 times 11. 176 over 2 minus 6 fourths is 24 minus 5 to the third power is 125 times 10 equals to 1,250 over 3 minus 5 squared is 25. 25 times 11. 275 over 2 minus 30. 6 times 5 is 30. And I gotta work all of this out. And so I'm just gonna type it all into the calculator. 640 divided by 3 minus 176 divided by 2 plus, minus 24 equals 101.3 repeating minus 1250 divided by 3 minus 275 divided by 2 minus 30 equals 249.16 repeating, and then you subtract those two answers. And that will give us our answer. Just double checking my math right here. Minus 249. And the answer is negative 147.83. Repeating, or just 0.83 if you round to two decimal places. To DP this. Okay, number 24. It says find the average value from -2 to 4. So the equation you set up is the average is equals to the 1 over b minus a, the integral from a to b of the function plus 2 dx. So, and negative and a negative is positive. So that's actually 1 over 6. The integral of negative 2 to the 4 2x cubed minus 4x plus 2 dx. You work all of this out, and then you multiply it by 1 over 6. So that's going to be 1 over 6. Let's integrate. 2x to the 4 over 4 minus 4x squared over 2 plus 2x. I have to plug in 4. I have to plug in negative 2, and I have to subtract the answers. Whew. So that's going to be 1 over 6. This becomes 2. X to the 4 over 2 minus, that's 2. 2x squared plus 2x. Got to plug in 4. Plug in negative 2. Subtract the 2 answers. 1 over 6 times 4 to the 4th over 2 minus 2 times 4 squared plus 2 times 4 minus negative 2 to the 4th over 2 minus 2 times negative 2 squared plus 2 times negative 2 right here. Of course, all of that still has to be multiplied by 1 over 6. Sheesh. 1 over 6 times. Gotta work this thing out. Whew. 4 raised to the 4th power, 256 divided by 2. 128 minus 4 raised 4 squared times 2. 32 plus 8 minus negative 2 to the 4th power, 16 divided by 2 is 8. Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Minus 4. That's 1 over 6 times, let's work out the parentheses, minus 32 plus 8. 104 plus 4, I believe. 8 minus 8 is 0. A negative and negative makes a plus 4. So that's 1 over 6 multiplied by 108. What's 108 divided by 6? 18. And so your average value is 18. Whew. A lot more work for one of those questions, yes. Number 25. I'm integrating 1 over x from negative 2 to 6. So a is equal to negative 2, b is equal to 6. So my average value is going to be 1 over 6 minus negative 2. Integral from negative 2 to 6 of 2 over x dx. The integral, so negative and negative is positive, so that's 1 over 8. The integral of 2 over x is 2 ln absolute value of x. Of course, I have to plug in 6. I have to plug in negative 2. Subtract the 2 answers. So that's going to be 1 over 8 2 ln of 6 absolute value minus 2 ln of negative 2. Absolute value of negative 2 is just 2, so it's just ln 2. Again, make sure you know what your ln button on your calculator is. So that's 1 over 8. Typing all of this directly into the calculator, 2 times ln of 6 minus 2 times ln of 2 equals 2.19722. Divide that by 8. The answer is 0.27 to 2 decimal places. Where do we think of these things? Oof. Number 26. I want to average value from 1 to 5 of this function. So that's the integral of 5 minus 1 from 1 to 5 of 2 times the square root of x cubed minus 4 divided by x cubed plus 2 dx. The 1 minus 5 is 4, so that's 1/4 of 1 to 5 of 2 times x to the 3/2 minus 4 times x to the negative 3 plus 2 dx. And so that's going to be 1/4 of, adding 1 to the power, 2 times x, well, simple, I'm integrating, so I don't need this anymore. So that's going to be 3 plus 2 is 5, 5/2 over 5/2 minus 4x to the negative 2 divided by negative 2 plus 2. I have to plug in 5, I have to plug in 1, and I gotta subtract the 2 x's. That's going to be 1/4 times 2x to the square root of 5 times 2 over 5 multiplied by the reciprocal plus negative signs cancel out. 2 over x, that's 2 when I cancel those, squared, plus, did I not add the x? Yeah, 2x. And I have to plug in 5, I have to plug in 1, I gotta subtract the 2 x's. That's going to be 1/4 times 2 times 2 is 4 over 5, the square root of 5 to the 5th power, plus 2 divided by 5 squared, plus 2 times 5, minus the whole thing again, but I'm plugging 1. 4/5, again the 4/5 comes from, this is 2 over 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 1 times 5 is 5. 4/5 of the square root of 1 to the 5th power plus 2 divided by 1 squared plus 2 times 1. Because all of that gets multiplied by 1/4. That's 1/4. It's a good thing you have a handy dandy calculator, right? So let's type all of this in right here. So that's going to be 4 divided by 5 multiplied by the square root of 5 to the 5th power. 5 raised to the 5th power. Plus 2 divided by 25 plus 10. That gives me 54.80136 minus 4 divided by 5 times 1 plus 2 plus 2. And that's going to give us 4.8. So I take my previous answer, I subtract 4.8, that's 1/4 of 50.00136, and I divide that by 4. And so the average is approximately 12.50 to 2 decimal places. Whew. Hard work and sacrifice. Alright, we'll pause right here and then we'll pick up. It's getting long, so we'll do the last few.